Streetboarding dreams, future and past. Here in the present, it's DRGNCAST.
So, what's up? Welcome to episode 3 of DRGNCAST. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't checked out the other 2 episodes, we've already had Brenton Gunderson on the first one, and we've had Thomas Keenlair on the second one. So this is number 3. Before we introduce our guest today, I'm going to hand over to my man, but Mr. Sam Cook for Flex of the Fortnight. What's up, man?
Right, yes, me. Flex of the Fortnight, yeah. Flex of the Fortnight this week goes to Fortnite. This fortnight goes to Christian Dudu van der Berg, man. So Jamie's going to flash up the video. He did a backsmith to back 5-0, backside 360 out. But the best part about that trick, I think, is linking the backsmith to the back 5-0, because that's a difficult thing to make look good and make look like a separate trick. So well done, Christian. Got you some sunflowers there because of the Dutch vibes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Collection only, by the way.
I'll just hold on to them for you.
Yeah. Safe, man. No, big up, Christian.
Caught me by surprise then. Sorry, I'm a bit tired, man, after work.
That's all right.
I've got some energy drinks, don't worry.
So safe, man. Christian, collection only. Come and get the flowers. We'd love to see you down. Come down Brighton, London, wherever. Next up, so our guest this week. We've actually recorded this twice because we did record it, and then in intervening period, you will now know he has just joined the Dragan team. He is from the land of dragons, so it's quite fitting. Probably had some of the most amount of sections, I would say. Maybe him along with Sergio over the last 10 years. Absolute street slayer. We'll go into detail on some of the sections. But it's Mr. Simon Johns. What's up, Simon? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How's things been out there in San Diego during lockdown?
I mean, honestly, it's probably one of the best places to be locked down. If you're gonna stay in your own neighborhood, and I mean, for me, it's an apartment complex, so I've got a little road outside that I can still skate in or whatever. But the weather's been perfect, and yeah, can't complain really.
Cool, man. Do you cut your own hair, or can you get hairdressers out there? Because mine is. My hair is just crazy, man.
Well, when I had my hair a bit longer, my wife was cutting my hair. But then I just took it into my own hands and shaved it off again.
Good.
Getting too warm.
Wise move, man. Sweet. So I think we've got a lot to cover today. So we'll probably go right back to the beginning. So you're a Welsh boy. You're from Wales. How did you first get into snakeboarding, and where are you from? Tell us.
So I'm from a little village called Coychurch in an almost as small town called Bridgend. And yeah, that's just South Wales. For people not familiar with Wales, that's a little country that's tagged on the left-hand side of the UK. And yeah, I think I got first introduced to a snakeboard back in '97, around age 10. It wasn't something that I saw and immediately wanted to get into. I just remember a friend who had one. His name was George. And I think the first board I owned was probably a year or 2 after that. And I know when we first did this, I got my timelines all mixed up about my first board. But I actually remember there was this board that was given to me by a Swiss snowboarder. When I was on yeah, I know. I don't know how I forgot about that, but this Swiss, yeah.
What board was that?
So I don't know. So maybe you guys can help me out. It was like the classic snakeboard look, the thin bar, small plates, but it had a round piece in the center of the bar with grip tape on, and it could swivel.
Ah, dude, yes. Those things were crazy weird, man.
Yeah, and the foot plates went more than 180 degrees. So if you had bindings, which thankfully I didn't, you could snap your ankles for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Snakeboard? Or was that something else?
I think it was something else. I remember those. Those were really off key, man. They were proper weird. Do you know who the snowboarder was? It wasn't like, didn't have a moustache. He wasn't like a propeller cap, kind of like
Wasn't hurt,
No,
was it?
Oh, something like that.
no. So he was as I need to speak to my dad about this, but he was one of my dad's clients' sons. So that's when we were out in Switzerland. He was visiting a client, and he must have heard that me talking about a snakeboard, perhaps. And he said that he had this thing that he didn't want because he couldn't ride it, and he just gave it to me, like on the last day I was there.
Yeah, see, cool, man.
And and for the record, I was never able to ride it. Never able to ride it. But that was the first one I actually owned.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until a few years later that I must have picked up like a Snakeboard Classic or something, like a browser or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that's second, third gen, because that was fourth gen, man. Yeah. That was deep, man. That was deep into the snakeboard days. How was it growing up skateboarding there? Were you the only snakeboarder? Were there any other guys around?
Well, so George, he had a snakeboard. He wasn't just a snakeboarder. He kind of did everything, and he was a few years older than me. So I was his shadow. So I would do whatever he did at the time. Most of it was going to be rollerblading, and then a little bit of snakeboarding and a little bit of skateboarding. And then for him, it kind of moved towards skateboarding, which was what it was doing to me as well. I was starting to move towards skateboarding as well. And then by some weird coincidence, my skateboard got stolen, and I didn't want to go back on rollerblades when everyone else was skateboarding. So I thought, well, I've already got a snakeboard. I can sort of ride it a little bit. I'll start taking that to the skate park with me now.
Sweet.
Yeah, and that was pretty much it. And then I just fell in love with it.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
No,
excellent, man. I'm glad your skateboard got stolen.
Yeah.
If that guy's watching, thank you.
Yeah, man. No, did you ever know? So, because the other day I'm down in Cornwall at the minute, and I hooked up with Kerry, big up to Kerry Thomas, and the other day and rode with him. Then he put me in touch with this guy called Tony Hughes. Did you ever know him?
Yeah. So I mean, we called him. Well, I didn't call him. I think maybe like Alex or Max coined him as Welsh Tony. But I remember him. But he was someone that would appear at Newport Skate Park every now and again.
Yeah.
Throw a rodeo, land it perfectly. Then the second one, break a rib.
Yeah.
And then he'd moan about it and then go home.
Yeah.
And then that was all we'd see of him. And then he'd pop up again in a few months' time. And I had no idea where in Wales he was from. Maybe somewhere up north, perhaps.
Maybe, I think so, because I was hanging out with Kerry yesterday or 2 days ago, and then he's put me in touch with Tony, who I spoke to on the phone with yesterday. And, yeah, man. So he's going to help us out with a few bits. He's got a little business up and going. So I had a little chat to him, and he was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "The last contest I was at was the one in St Albans," and it was like, "Were you there?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I organised that." And where Max Anderson knocked himself out on, I think he was doing a disaster onto the rail.
He went to do disaster. I want to say nose blunt. I want to say disaster nose blunt, and he just missed the nose blunt and decided to do frontside headbutt instead.
Yeah, and he had like a bit of a fit. That was scary, man. So, no.
I'm pretty sure Tony broke a rib at that contest.
He did. We chatted about it yesterday. He's like, he broke a rib and a board, and then surgically in his board to get into to ride the second round. But I think his rib was killing him. But yeah, man.
Yeah. It was rodeo to rib on that quarter to bank, right?
Yeah, that was the one. It's just fun. It was just funny because we were chatting about it with him yesterday, man. Oh, that's cool. So you in Wales, you had your Welsh years.
Yeah.
So at that point, were you hanging out with like the kind of Kingston crew, I guess? So you had a mix. So you had Di, was it from your ends? And then Alex, Max, and all of that crew.
Yeah. So so when I was living in Wales, I don't think I had any real contact with any other streetboarders, maybe until into my GCSE year. So year 11, year 11. That sounds about right. But yeah, it was at the end of comprehensive school. think the Newport contest. I can't remember what that was. Was it a national? It wasn't a nationals. It was just something.
That was I don't know what it was for. I can't even remember who organised that.
I would assume you. Don't know who else is going to be.
Is this the Newport competition?
Yeah.
Mm.
Who
got kicked off the train on the way down there? What?
I didn't get kicked off. I stayed on the train.
We didn't even get on.
yeah. We went down.
Is this around the time that you got your ASBO, Simon?
Oh, my ASBO. I was 17 when I got the ASBO, so around about that time. That was a little bit later, probably.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's an antisocial behaviour order. It's something that's given to errant young children in Brighton probably a lot, but in the UK. So what was that for, Simon?
That was for skating an 8-stair handrail across the road from a police station.
An 8-stair?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was that other big handrail that you used to hit in Wales.
Oh, that was
16-stair or something?
Yeah, that's Llantarry Welsh School. So, and for those listening that don't know, you can go to a Welsh school if you live in Wales, and they make you speak Welsh the entire day. That was not something I had to do in my school, thankfully. But when I remember first seeing that spot and not thinking it was something that existed in Wales, because even though by today's standards it's pretty gritty run up, pretty gritty landing, but the rail itself was perfect.
And you got a 5-0. That was the first time I saw you do a big 5-0 on a big rail, and probably sort of like your first man-sized handrail,
Yeah, definitely. That, I mean, before that, I think the ASBO rail. Well, so there's the ASBO rail, and next to the ASBO rail was a slightly bigger 10-stair.
Yeah.
So I'd hit that before, but then I mean, even though it doesn't seem like like between a 10 and a 16, it's a different mindset. You can sort of get out of messing up something on a 10-stair, without too much going on. But yeah, the 16 was like it changed my attitude to how to hit big obstacles, I guess. And just getting it was good. It was that was like what set it off for how I would kind of take my skating from there on.
What advice would you give to somebody hitting a 16-stair for the first time, or anything bigger?
You've just got to know that you're going to do it.
Yeah.
It's not something you can go into. I mean, you could just have dumb luck, but it's not something you should go into without knowing 100% that you're going to do it.
Okay, so don't do like I do and I just close my eyes and count to fuck.
Yeah. Like there needs to be an element of that as well, because you can psych yourself out by rolling up to the rail a bunch of times, and then it just gets bigger and bigger each time you roll up. You do have to say fuck it at some point and just go for it, but you've got to know that you're planning on doing it.
Yeah, I always find if I'm doing a big rail and you've got that where you keep rolling up and I imagine there's this like pane of glass at the top of the rail, and I've just got to break through it, man. You just got to get through it, get it done, man.
No.
You kind of take you analyse your skating quite a lot, I noticed, on your YouTube channel. Do you think that's a sort of kind of your secret? I mean, Jamie imagines what the fuck, a pane of glass.
Yeah. You just got to go for it, man.
But do you think that helps you sort of, because your level of tech tricks and handrails is up there, so do you think that's helped you sort of kind of put more tricks in the bag? I'm starting to think I should have done that.
Yeah, see in my personal opinion of my own skating, I don't have that many tricks, but the ones I do have, I've practiced a lot. Like a lot. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's like I'm sure from the outside looking in, it seems like I've got a lot of tricks, but there's just like certain fundamental tricks that I don't have.
Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like for example, I can't hold like a crooked grind on a ledge for long.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't do it. I try, and I either stick or I slip out or whatever. It's just something I wasn't into when I was learning the basics, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I never got around to those. Whereas, like, obviously I can 5-0 all day, and it's just, it's the same thing, just on a different truck.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's things like that, and I ended up building upon the tricks that I can already do really well, and that's where the tech combos come from. So like learning to half cab into things, for example, that was a big thing. Once I got really good at that, then I can change what I half cab into. Then I can half cab into that trick and then into another trick that I can already do really well, and just kind of build off the fundamentals.
Sick, man. No, cool.
Yeah.
So kids, if you're listening out there, that's the way to do it. Build the basics, and then hit a 16 step. That's it.
Yeah, and I would just say, like, what I wish I would have done was try the things that made me uncomfortable when I was at a younger age to absorb that more, because now I can do, like, we'll go back to crooks again, for example. I can do them if I'm forced into a situation, but I feel like I'm past the point of doing them like how Sergi would do them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a situation where you'd be forced into doing a crooked grind.
Well, sometimes the rail's only backside, and you've already got a backlit for your part, and and backsmiths are horrible, so you might want to.
Well, I tell you,
take a cheeky crook in there.
I'll tell you one thing as well, man. Now you're on Dragan, it's going to happen. Sergi's going to be cracking.
I know.
Whip.
Yeah.
Crook whip,
I know.
Yeah.
Crook whip.
Yeah. Safe, man. So moving, go back to, because I mean, a big part of, like, especially in the UK scene, and then I guess worldwide, was when you moved from Wales through to Bristol, and you guys basically set up a UK streetboard house. Like, who is in there? What was the vibe like at the time? Are you guys just going out skating every day?
So I moved there for university, and I moved into that house particular because Guy Hare, who was a year older than me, was already living there. He was just BMXing at the time. He wasn't streetboarding. But we streetboarded and BMX together all the time. And then, so that first year, it was just us in the house. And yeah, it was awesome. We skated and rode bikes a lot. And then the second year was, I think that's when we got Alex in. He came in the second year, and then more skating, less university, and then I think, I can't remember if it was the third or fourth year, because I ended up staying in this house after I graduated anyway, just because, like, rent was cheap. We knew the area; it was just made sense. And we had Josh Newman living there at one point. John White lived there for an extended amount of time. He still lives there. In fact, he's still keeping the grass trim.
Yeah.
I saw that.
In the same house?
He's in the same house. Yeah, I did last. I know. Last time Jay and I spoke, I wasn't sure if he still lived there, but then he posted that video.
Oh yeah.
And that's definitely our garage. So
with the hula hoop. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, that was sick. So that's cool, man. That house, I mean, I remember coming down and staying there on quite a few occasions, and it was just sick. You guys had, like, streetboard videos on all the time. You had, like, there were just boards everywhere. You guys were playing. You had your drum. Did you have your drum kit set up there?
Eventually I did. Yeah, I didn't get into drums until maybe I was 21.
Okay.
So I got into it pretty late.
Yeah.
Pretty late. Yeah. But yeah, it was sick. We were skate rats, and we were also, like, huge fanboys of, like, streetboarding in general. Like, everything was a big deal. Like, when a new video came out, it was a huge deal. We'd all watch it together. It was sick. Good times.
Yeah. No.
Good times.
They were great. And then I mean, I think, obviously it's something that we we need to, you know, we need to chat about him because it was such a big part of the streetboard scene. And you know, R.I.P. to Alex Wheeler, who is one of your housemates, one of, you know, your closest friends. Just an amazing energy in the streetboard scene, and like had such sick skating and so much enthusiasm and love for the scene. You know, he's sorely missed by everyone, and that must have been a really, really hard period for you guys to go through. I don't know if you want to chat about a bit how it was when you guys found out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't remember what year it was, but we just come back, Alex and myself, from a trip to Barcelona. And we had such a sick time. We stayed with Sergi, showed us around a bunch of street spots. And then it must have been maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most after we came back. We were just all chilling in like the living room. I think it was the living room or Di's room, probably smoking not a joint. But Alex was a sick guitar player, for those who didn't know. Like he could play like all the like fast, like heavy metal riffs and stuff. So he was like very dexterous with his fingers. And he was just sitting there with the guitar in his hand, and he just said, you know, I can't get my fingers to do what I want them to do right now. And it's really weird. And he said he had a little bit of a headache. But you know, we didn't think anything of it. Just probably thought, he's having an off day, you know. It's like, because that's what happens with skating. Sometimes you can do all your tricks, and then some days you can't. You know, why would guitar be any different? But yeah, that happened that day, and then it kept happening. And then we thought, well, you probably should go to the doctor and at least see what's wrong, you know. And we had joked that like, it's probably like a brain tumor or something like that, you know, not thinking that could be a possibility because, you know, we're all young, you know, we're relatively healthy. We think we're relatively healthy anyway. And yeah, just turns out that is exactly what it was. And then, you know, immediately the mood changed.
Yeah.
Sorry if you can hear, there's a freaking lawnmower just outside. I hope it's not ruining the audio. Yeah, and like just like that, he was like, right, well, I guess I'm packing up. I'm gonna go back, live with my family, and get treated. And that was it. He just went. I think it was like the next day. I think he was back up in London with his family and figuring out, you know, what was the next right thing to do. You know, going through the chemotherapy and whatnot. And you know, the first one was taken out, and he responded really well to the treatment. And then unfortunately, I think 2 grew back in its place. And I believe he had those out as well. But then when it grew back the 3rd time, I think I'm assuming it was a doctor recommendation not to get operated on a 3rd time because it's such a dangerous procedure anyway.
Yeah.
That, you know.
No.
Yeah, could have caused even more damage. You know, if there was even more damage to cause.
No, I mean, much love. Like Alex, sorely missed. He was such a, you know, a ball of life and enthusiasm, and you know.
Oh, he lived the streetboarding, man.
Yeah.
He was the ultimate fanboy.
Yeah.
Like I was super into it, but he was one step beyond. He lived and breathed it 24/7.
Yeah.
He had such a weird instinct for it. And I remember we were driving in the car with him once, just through some random village, and he goes, I feel like there's a skate park around here. And I think we might have been in the car, and we turned a corner, and there's this fucking skate park in the corner of a field, man.
You can smell them anywhere.
He just sensed it. You know?
Yeah. He just stuck his tongue out. He could taste the coping.
Yeah.
Oh man. I know that you were already actually, you know, around that point, and it was part of, you know, Alex's passing that maybe kind of pushed you more down the route towards living more of a healthy lifestyle and veganism. Is that right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I didn't know that veganism was what it would end up being. But it definitely made me look at the kind of foods I put into my body, and do research of, well, you know, how can I do the best I can to make sure the same thing doesn't happen to myself? So it was originally for a very selfish reason, I think. A little bit of fear that, like, oh, that happened to one of us, it could happen to another one of us again. And that fear is still with me today to a certain extent. Every time I get a headache or feel like something's wrong with me, I immediately think about Alex. It's just hard not to, because of just how we came to find out about it. You know, something like a little bit of a headache and you couldn't, play the guitar. So that's always on my mind. And then I just thought, I'll look into what is the best preventative medicine, and that's actually food. So yeah, that kind of set me down towards the path towards veganism. And I kind of just want to make the distinction that, like, it was more plant-based before veganism, whereas like veganism is like an ethical stance and plant-based is like strictly just talking about diet. So yeah, so plant-based first. That was kind of beginning of things, and I noticed like a drop in weight, even though like quantity-wise, the amount of food I was eating didn't seem to change. So that was a bonus. And recovery times and things like that, like after injuries and stuff, improved. And that just got me into looking, now I'm already down the rabbit hole, So, I want other people to experience the benefits that I've had. So then I start looking into why else would people do this? And then, you find out about the environmental issues, and there's the whole ethical argument as well. And these days, although I still eat a healthy plant-based diet, I do consider myself more in it for the ethical reasons now, just because I know that I can be healthy. So it makes the argument for myself harder to not do that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, cool, man. Well, and then, I mean, I guess out of real tragedy and through that how you move, it sent you on the path down to veganism. You met your wife, your current wife, and
I did.
Yeah, that is I love that story. So I'll let you tell it.
So I was in Colorado at the time. I think I'm trying to think what year it was. Maybe 2014. 2014 sounds about right. And just hit a rail that was really scary. It was like a 16 or 18 stair with like a curb gap at the end. So I only did a 50-50 on it, but then you had to like jump the curb into the road. And it was taking me way longer than I thought it was going to. So I was battling this trick. Finally landed it, really stoked. And then Trisha Dunn and her boyfriend took me out to a restaurant. They knew that I was eating vegan at the time. So they took me to this place called Native Foods. And it was the first time I'd ever had vegan junk food, I guess. Because before this, like I said, I'm eating more plant-based. So that's, I'm going down the health road. So I'm eating like whole foods and stuff like that, not touching all the processed stuff. And yeah, it was the first time I had like vegan chicken wings and things like that, And then on the way out, I'm just looking at the dessert case and I see this oatmeal cream pie, buy one. Instagram had just, in my life anyway, just become a thing. So I took like this terrible photo of it. Like, so, obviously like an oatmeal cream pie is like a sandwich. So you'd think like the side view would be the best shot to take because you can see the layers in it. But I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I take a photo of this cookie from above in like this boring brown box. And it's like just the worst photo ever. Like no one would be looking through their feed at this photo and think that's like worth anyone's time. So I'm doing all the hashtags and hashtag plant-based, hashtag vegan, blah, blah, blah. And then it just so happens that my my wife at the time, she was looking through the vegan hashtag. She's a baker for a vegan bakery in New York, and she's just looking for ideas, and she just sees this picture. I don't know what made her want to comment on it, but she did. And that was it. We just we joked around, commenting back and forth. From then, we became friends on Facebook, Skyped each other, and then eventually I flew out to New York to meet her.
Cool, man.
You made,
It was
video.
like 0 to 100.
And you made video blogs about the whole thing.
Yeah, well, she did that.
Yeah,
She did that, yeah.
I watched them, man. It's a beautiful story. It's a modern love story, you know. Very
Yeah,
nice.
so
Does Mary still have her bakery? The lovely cakes or something?
so she's closed it down for the pandemic,
Yeah.
just because it's the way her business license works. She has to deliver in person because it's a specific type of license, and we just thought, it's not worth the risk right now. She's still got her 9 to 5 that she's working from home full time, so that's just on hiatus for now anyway.
What are you doing for money at the moment?
What am I doing for money? Well, I actually work at the restaurant that I got the cookie from. Obviously not the Colorado one, the San Diego branch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I work at the place that started it all for us. I make those cookies now.
Beautiful, man. I love it. Should we talk about some skating, do you reckon?
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Oh man, let's talk about some sections.
All right.
So seldom seen.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a long time ago now.
It does. It does. What was it? 2011?
Yeah, almost a decade, man. Almost a decade.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
So I feel like your skating kind of you hit a bit of a block halfway through seldom seen. No? Did you hurt yourself a bit on a handrail in Bristol?
I don't know, honestly. I think it's like I said, I don't have that big a bag of tricks, and I had even smaller bag of tricks then.
Sorry, so I'm going to just stop you there, Simon. You do, right?
All right. Well, thank you.
I have a big bag of tricks. Who are you talking to? I can do all my tricks in one switch up because there's only 3 of them.
No, but okay, so here's the thing, though. But you're talking specifically about grinds, perhaps.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, that's all it really was for me at that time. I had the mindset and the confidence to hit big rails, but I didn't have the skill set for more nuanced tricks. I didn't have I didn't really have manuals back then. Mm-hmm. I definitely didn't like jumping down stuff because I was heavier, so it would hurt. It would hurt my knees. So I wasn't into that. So all I really had was the big rails, and I would just get good at the basic tricks like 5-0s, lip slides, Smiths, or whatever, and then just throw them down the biggest ones I could find. And that's I guess so. Yeah, so you're right. It would have seemed like I kind of plateaued because there's it gets to a certain point, you can only find X amount of stairs on a handrail and then do one of 3 tricks down it, and that's it. You can't have a whole part full of that.
I think at some point between seldom seen and hype was the next day one video.
Yeah.
Like your skating seemed to like level up a lot. I mean, why do you think that was?
That probably a mixture of not being in university and just being able to do whatever I wanted in my free time. Not that like I ever took university that seriously, but it was always there lingering. You want to do well because for your parents and things like that. But I think after university, after Alex had finished university, I think probably everyone in the house had finished university, and we're all just working and then in our free time skating. I think it was just down to that probably, just doing it more often. And yeah, I can't really attribute it to anything else other than just doing it more often and probably just being around other people doing it. That's something that's a bigger deal than most people give credit. If you are skating with someone else all the time, you're going to get better so much faster.
Yeah.
Because I feel right now, you know, I skate with people at my local. I've got, there's one or two streetboarders here that I see every now and again, but most of the time I'm skating with skateboarders, and luckily there's like this level of skateboarders in California is insane.
Yeah.
So it's a good session. It's not like I don't want to diss anyone who's not good at something, because that's not the point of doing it. But if you're skating with someone that's finding it tough to board slide the skate park handrail, you know, it's not the same. You know, it's sick to like hype each other up, and like the tricks that go down on a daily at my local skate park are insane, like absolutely insane. And then they end up being viral on Instagram in like a week or two. You know, it's crazy. But that is like the one thing that I think probably did it. Like Alex skated at a really high level, but he skated at a level in a different discipline, almost completely. Like he was much more of a transition skater. And then when Dai started skating, he was just naturally gnarly because he'd come from the BMX world. So like he was used
to BMXer on a streetboard.
Yeah.
So he was used to like a big sharp piece of metal falling on him every time he messed up a trick. So like streetboarding, he's like, this is nothing. This is, you know, a little bit of concrete to the face, never hurt anyone.
How's streetboarding kind of received in the skate parks in California?
In California, San Diego, I would say it's 90% positive. San Diego's it's really chill. LA is a bit more 50-50, I would say. You go to some places and people are instantly upset. But they'd be upset. But they would be the same people who would be upset at other skateboarders who aren't from LA. People
get so offended by it. It's great.
I know.
I tell you. Actually, I told this guy at the skate park the other day. Like I always remember, Steph and I were down on the South Bank. Must have been about 94, 95. And we knew this was what we wanted to continue doing for the rest of our lives. When a couple of rollerbladers went past and called us the scum of the earth, that was like my best. I was like, I'm sticking with this for life, man. Scum of the earth. Dreams can come true. But yeah, it's true, man. But Simon, you like the guys at your local park are sick. But man, I actually watched Hype because I haven't watched Hype for a little while before we did this. But man, it makes me want to go out and try and slay, man. It's a killer section, that one, man. I forgot how nang it was. I mean, even I think it's like the third trick in. When you do the nose slide over the death kink. You do a nose slide over the death kink. Is it nose slide pretzel? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I was thinking when you said death kink, I was like, oh my god, what did I do? A nose slide on? Yeah, I know. You mean the little like six there, right?
That's not like a death kink on a longer rail is more palatable than on like a shorter rail, because you have to set up for that and you properly ride that out, man. Yeah,
that spot is at an abandoned baseball field in South Carolina.
Oh damn.
Yeah, so that I mean, honestly, that was like, for me anyway, that was one of the easier tricks in the section. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I haven't watched Hype in a while. I remember more of my seldom seen tricks than I do of my Hype tricks. I remember a lot of the bigger tricks in Hype, but if you ask me to recall the entire section, I think I can remember like 20% of it. I mean, I don't know why. I just feel like that video, it wasn't the same as Seldom Seen, where we were a big crew going on a lot of trips. I felt like with Hype, I spent a majority of the filming away from the UK for a lot, just because my dad was living in North Carolina at the time.
Cool.
And I was just I was just doing long trips out to the States, and then that ended up. But that's why I have so much American footage in that section.
No, it's just banger after banger. But I mean, that ender is. So if anyone out there listening or watching the podcast, you haven't seen Hype, it's on. I think it's on Vimeo. If you search Simon John's Hype or Day One Hype, it will come up.
So Day One Streetboarding on YouTube.
Yeah. It's all over. Watch it because it will get you. You will literally grab your board and be out there. But that ender. So what is the ender? So 180. Is it 180 switch 50 to switch lip?
So lip 270 out.
No, it's other way around. It's switch 180 regular 50.
That's it. So half cab.
Yeah.
Go through.
Yeah,
it.
you haven't got any tricks.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. So, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I was good at 50s. I was good at half cabs. And I was good at lip slides. So that trick seems like super complicated when you put all of them together.
Yeah.
But I can't really do any other one I can't do it the regular way.
Yeah.
You know, because I haven't got good switch 50s. I haven't got good 180 switch Smiths. You know, it's the fundamentals.
But how many tries did it take you for that one?
Probably a bunch of just like half cab 50s. And then when I actually went for it, maybe 2 or 3. I only remember slipping out once. I did one without a pretzel, I think, first go. And then when I went to try the pretzel, I think I might have slipped out once, maybe twice. And then, third one at least was the one that I got away with.
It's like really smooth ground. It's kind of like a skate park, isn't it?
Yeah, it's strange. It's so strange. I mean, the handrail itself, if you're using it as a handrail, is like dumb. You wouldn't like want to be that like walking down those steps on that angle seems more dangerous than not having a handrail. You know?
Yeah,
it's
Barcelona, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got that bin as well, just so which is a little. It doesn't affect you, but you can see it.
Okay, well, no one's going to know what we're talking about, but you can watch it on the video, or it's also on the cover of Red Pen issue 2. Yeah,
Mr. Brun.
Copies are still available, man.
Boy, I don't know.
I've got a couple.
We've got to check. We've got to go around to Papa Noman's house and have a little rummage, man. And I'll let you know.
So then, so that killer ender in height, and then you leveled it up again for Jamie's competition. Jay's competition.
Just call me the captain. The captain's one jig, man. Yeah, that
yeah, what did you spend the money on, man?
I ended up buying
8 ball of weed.
That was obviously that was my first thought, you know. No, I ended up buying a drone. Bought a drone and then flew it apart a total of like 10 times, and then it stayed in the box since. You know.
Yeah.
How it goes with every gimmick.
Yeah. For anyone who's not aware, so like the idea behind that contest was I was sitting around one day and like looking at my friends. I was talking to one of my friends, and he had a football season ticket, and I can't remember how much it cost him, but I mean it's in the thousands. You know, it cost him over $1,000. And then I know I'm a Formula 1 fan. Going to a race there, you spend like 500-600 quid. So I was like, do you know what? I love streetboarding, and I really want to see some sick street sections. So I put down $1,000 for someone to throw it, and Simon came up the winner with an absolute banger. I mean, the others, Alex Villa, killed it as well. I mean, all of them were sick that came out, but yeah, yours was just next level. You do that. What's your ender? Is it the 50 lip?
No, it's the Switch 180 on the 18.
The one that Sergi does a nose blunt down.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was sick, man.
Thank you.
Are there any? What was the hardest trick for you in that?
Hardest trick, probably the switchboard to front board on Hollywood 16. That was that was the one that it was the biggest mental battle to get over, and it was probably the only one I slammed pretty badly on. I didn't take any like terrible slams on video. The only terrible slam I took was warming up on a board side on a rail that didn't even make it into the section. I just like put my foot under it and just went straight down to my hip. Yeah, it was horrible. But that trip was the only one I can really remember taking me a long time to get the mindset to do it, because you think that well, you can do I can do these tricks at the skate park pretty consistently on really small rails where you've got to like almost immediately switch up once you're in the trick, and you think, well, you've got this long 16 rail, it's going to be way easier to switch up, you're going to have so much time, and then you don't take into account that it's high, you've got to go a bit faster, and the rail itself is steeper than it looks in videos. So you're going down pretty fast. You don't get much time to switch up. That was the one. It was one bad slam, and then I think I made about 3 of them, and then I picked whichever one I thought of the 3 was the best at the time.
It was.
So you never used that drone though, no?
Not for any of those shots. I've used the drone for some of my YouTube videos, but that was I had Max filming me at some point for that video. So what am I going to trust Max with a drone?
I don't know. I trust Max with a drone.
You trust Max with a drone? I don't think you've been filming with Max.
I trust Max with my dinner.
Exactly.
Yeah, I trust Max. Okay, yeah, I would trust Max with my dinner. I think Max will agree though, he wouldn't trust himself with a drone.
No, okay. So what do you use to film your YouTube channels? Because I noticed, because it was vegan snakes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then you changed it to Simon John's because you didn't really want to be pigeonholed in the vegan and the snakeboarding thing.
Yeah.
But now you're a vegan tech, video game, health, skating. What?
Well, yeah. So what I've basically done is accidentally put myself into those categories. What that's just doing is just labeling my interests. So it's basically like my own personal vlog channel now. It's not really focused on anything. I just enjoy recording videos every now and again when I get something new and I'm interested in. I think it would help people. Like I did a bunch of videos about that 360 camera.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I think if you're someone like me who usually goes and skates alone, it's an invaluable piece of kit, because once you put that camera down and you've got that 360-degree field of view, you can then you can make it look like you've got your own filmer.
Yeah,
which is and that was the thing, I never saw it being promoted as that. I always saw people using it for the super gimmicky things like the small planet boomerang clips and things like that. And I thought, well, if you can crop a 16:9 image out of it and it's 360 degrees, then you can film your own fisheye clips.
Yeah.
And you could, yeah. So
that's the thing, that everyone uses that weird world thing, and that's so old news. Has anyone seen the Busta Rhymes Give Me Some More video? They've got it in that, man, and that's like what, early 2000s. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And that's sick. And that's the problem with streetboarding, that we're out to change that, because so many people do ride alone, and that's a really good use of it. Talking of tech, I noticed, are you wearing an Aura ring? That ring?
Oh, what? Sorry. This is like a rubbery silicone ring.
Ring.
My metal wedding ring is gone. It's in a disposable glove somewhere.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Long gone. I was at the skate park later in the day when I noticed, and I was like, oh shit, I guess it's not in someone's food, so that's always a bonus.
Actually, there's one question I've missed out that I actually want to backtrack a little.
I need to go for a pee, man. I'm sorry. I'll make it through one second.
Well, at least you're wearing trousers on this episode.
Yeah, man. I live from the waist up these days.
Okay, yeah. No, so Simon, while Sam's otherwise occupied, just rewinding back to, because it is seldom seen, You did hype, but that was all part
Yep.
of day one. So like we haven't actually chatted about. Big up to Colin Horan, the man who's behind day one, who was the strongest brand, in my opinion, in those from like mid 2000 years through to the mid noughties, around when life got too busy. How did you get on day one? How did that come about?
I think, I mean, Colin will have to confirm, but I think he saw that. I think he saw the 5-0 down the Sean Harry 16, and I can't remember if I sent it to him or if I just posted it on Facebook and he saw it. But it was pretty much down to that. And yeah, I guess he was just doing the right thing and trying to amplify younger people in the scene. Because I mean, even though we weren't that young at the time, for the rest of the scene, it was still pretty young. So it made sense to do that, because John White got on like pretty much at the same time as well.
Yeah.
And he obviously knew it. He knew that John and I were going to skate together. So that made sense from a content point of view, and just like the whole team bonding kind of thing. And then it was sick for us because like obviously you and Sam were on there, and whether you guys know it or not, you were like celebrity status to us at some point.
Yeah, we knew.
Yeah, I know you did.
Luckily, I've got my prettiness filter on because I'm blushing.
Yeah, if you got your buffness, I've got my buffness set to 100, man. Don't worry.
No, man. That team was tight, man. They were really great days, and like
they were. There was something in the mixture, in the formula that really worked. I was really like motivated. We talk about filming seldom seen.
Yeah, just be on day one. Just day one about that.
Day one in general, yeah. There was something that would just work there.
Yeah.
I haven't been that motivated since, really. It's all been downhill from there. How'd you stay up?
It's been downhill for me since '97 Nationals, mate. It's when I won the UK Championships. Last contest I won.
You peaked too early.
Peak to it.
Yeah.
How do you stay motivated to skate, Simon?
I don't know. I just love it. It's as simple as that, honestly. I just like the feeling of doing certain tricks, and I think if I couldn't do those tricks anymore, then I might, have, a different feeling, a different opinion of it. But I don't know. I can go to the skate park and just be happy doing like a front board, like something as simple as that. And if that ever goes away, then sad day for me. But I don't think it will, because if something as simple as that can keep me so happy, then I'll just keep doing this for as long as possible.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, I'm gonna we'll wrap up soon, but I know Thomas Keenler. So if you haven't seen it, the last episode, Thomas Keenler, he referenced that him and Mango Jr., aka Mario Curl, they want to hear about not just the past, they want to hear about the future. So you've just been, we've just welcomed you onto Dragan, like officially. This will be dropping just after the announcement. So welcome. I'm super excited that you want to come on board with us. You have been working with us in the background to help develop the boards, and that's where we reached out to you in the beginning, because I know you've got great feedback when riding boards, always have, and great ideas, and that coupled with your riding, I think it's got that full package. What do you see in the future for you, streetboarding wise? What do you see in the future for the scene as well?
Well, let's start with the scene first. I think having a company with the people behind it, like yourself, Sergi, and Brinton, that's some serious name recognition. So that's going to spark. That's going to ignite a fire in the current scene, because everyone knows who you guys are, and the feedback that we've seen from this brand already has been insane. I just noticed looking through social media now, the amount of people posting who weren't posting that much anymore. Everyone's just more motivated, and that's what's going to ultimately bring new people in. Seeing how excited we are about it, and wanting to be part of that, because there is something exciting about doing something that not a lot of people are doing. It does take a certain mindset to want to ride something that's a little bit difficult to get into, and it can raise questions with your peers who might be into something else. So yeah, I just think that was phase one, was like, get the current scene motivated. And I think now that there's such a rapid rate of innovation with the products, we're going to see stuff that's going to be more affordable, and that's what's going to get the impulse buy of the mother who doesn't know what to get their kid for the birthday or Christmas or whatever. They can then get into it easier.
Yeah.
It's just it's hard to drop $300 or 250 quid on something you don't know if someone's going to like, well, first we'll be able to ride it, and then also, if they're going to want to stick with it for longer than a week. And I think, it just seems like this is the right track. I think the boards already are insanely affordable, and it's only going to get more affordable as time goes on.
Cool.
Yeah. And what was the other question you asked? What do I see myself?
What's in the future?
Yeah.
Beside your...
I mean, I am now motivated to get back in the streets more. That was something I wasn't really too set on doing after I finished the one jib section, because it took a lot out of me physically. Honestly, it was a lot of impact. Thankfully, no long-lasting injuries, but it just takes a toll. And now I just feel, I don't know how to explain it, like how almost like I've got to focus on taking care of myself and getting back out there. I don't know. It's a weird feeling, like wanting to go back and skate street again after so long, because it's been like a 2-year period since I last hit a street rail. But now I just feel more motivated than ever to get back out. And now these boards are coming. We're testing them out, and I just think they're going to open more possibilities for certain street tricks with design, the weight of them, the materials used, and I'm just excited to
Cool.
start hitting stuff again.
Yeah,
I know that was a bit of a convoluted response, but yeah, it's really hard to articulate the feeling of wanting to get back out there and push yourself, just because of a brand, because it's something that like you need to want to do for yourself, and I do want to do it for myself, but the brand behind it really helps. And I think having someone like Brinton behind it, who is our Michael Jordan, basically.
Yep.
You want to do him proud.
You do want to. I want to make Brinton proud, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
Sam, it's the try, man. It's the try.
So you're worried about going from California skate park rails to California street rails?
No, they're not.
They're the same thing, man.
I know it's not the same for anyone else who has to slug it out on European street spots or any other, or even East Coast American street spots. There,
some of that shit is gnarlier than you expect when you go to California.
Yeah, that is true. Nothing's just
like El Toro did not have a nice run up.
No, I've never been there. Never been there.
Yeah, it was gnarly, man.
Yeah.
It was shit. Yeah.
It's weird. It's like spots out here. They come and go really quickly. They're skate stoppered, then someone comes and gets rid of them, and they bondo the cracks and stuff, and then I don't know, a month down the line, the bondo's gone, the skate stoppers are back. It's weird. There's like a cycle.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, sick, bro. So we're gonna wrap up, and one thing actually, Dragan is going to get you into shape. Has Sergi sent you your Ironman entry for next July yet? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, but no, sick to have you on your team, and thank you for taking the time today. I'm going to do as we always do at the end, just some quick fire questions. So just answer. So, who's your favourite skater ever?
It's probably going to be Sergi Nicholas.
No doubt, and there's a common answer. What was the first streetboard stroke snakeboard video you ever saw?
Disturbed.
Okay, cool. My favorite ever. 15 minutes, you're done. What's the hardest trick you've ever done?
On street, the switchboard to front board on Hollywood 16. In a skate park, 5-0 to lip to front board pretzel.
Damn, that one's hard. What about the hardest trick you've seen anyone else do on a streetboard?
I think hardest trick on a streetboard. Probably that would probably have to be Bob's switch nose grind along that really high long ledge in London.
Yes. Were you there?
I watched it. No, I wasn't. I watched that video recently though, and I was like, oh wait, that's insane because Bob's tall and that ledge looks really tall. I don't know. I would never have looked at it and gone, I want to skate that. It's something that's.
It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone.
It's the one in it's gone now. It's in Old Street. It was in Old Street, just literally down from Old Street roundabout. That was at Masters a few years back.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah. Oh mate, Ismail Calvo, aka Bob, destroyed it. Cool, man. Well, that's it for this episode. So, Sam, thank you very much for joining again.
Yeah, it's been really nice talking to you, Simon. Nice to see you, man. You look well.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. You too.
Yeah. And Simon, you got any thank yous, any shout outs you want to do?
Yeah, big thank you to my wife Mary for putting up with this insane obsession of ours. Thank you to Max Anderson, Alex Wheeler, John White, Josh Newman, Guy Hare, the guys that basically built my foundation of community and trick set. Thank you guys for doing this. I think the DRGNCAST is sick, and I'm always excited when like a new one pops up. And big thank you as well to Brinton, Sergi, Mason, and Christine as well at Dragan Boards. Thank you guys for believing in me and putting me on the team. You know, it means more than you know. It really does.
Yeah. I noticed you didn't thank Steph. Don't bother, man.
Oh,
I'm joking.
I'm sorry, Steph.
I'm joking. No, it's all good. Cool. Well, thank you, Simon. Psyched to have you on the team. Psyched to see what you can do on this brand new On the Bravo that would have dropped by now by the time you guys see this. This was DRGNCAST episode 3. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on Apple Podcasts as well, so you can hit the subscribe button on there if you'd like to listen to this while you're out skating, which I don't know, I find it off-putting. But anyway, thank you guys.
And until next episode,
safe.
Streetboarding dreams, future and past. Here in the present, it's DRGNCAST.